Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. General Hospital Tuesday, November 12 recap. Robert and Holly's happy ending exit. Laura demands Lulu wake up now. General Hospital, GH, spoilers for Tuesday, November 12, reveals that Diane Miller, Carolyn Hennessy, made things easy for Robert Scorpio, Tristan Rogers, by pointing out that she didn't want to be a consolation prize. Diane was nice about it since they gave their relationship a real try, but there was just no getting around the fact that she wasn't Holly Sutton, Emma Sams. Once Diane was alone, she broke down over losing Robert, though she obviously knew it was for the best. In Anna Devane's, Finola Hughes' office, Holly talked about the debt she'd racked up with a criminal syndicate and how she had to leave town to protect Sasha Gilmore Corbin, Sophia Matson. Holly wanted Anna to look after Robert, so Anna acknowledged that she'd do that even if Holly hadn't asked. However, Anna gave Holly a nudge to say goodbye to Robert, since he at least deserved that. Later, Anna met up with Diane, who offered updates on how she dumped Robert to beat him to the punch. Anna suggested Diane might want to rethink her plans since Holly was leaving town. Holly stopped by Robert's office and found it empty, so she left him a goodbye note before heading to the airfield. That's where Holly left Sasha a heartfelt voicemail and hoped for her forgiveness. Holly finally got Robert on the phone before realizing he was standing right behind her. Robert was done letting all the excuses stand in their way, so he said he was coming with her. Once Robert and Holly shared a kiss, they headed off to board the plane to Lisbon together. At GH, Laura Collins, Jenny Francis, and Lucky Spencer, Jonathan Jackson, got some medical news from Portia Robinson, Brooke Care. Lulu Spencer, Alexa Havens, was responding well to the transplant and medications, so she'd be transferred to Turning Woods in 2 weeks. However, Laura clearly had other plans for Lulu when she sat by her bedside. After Laura talked about Sam McCall's, Kelly Monaco demise, she said they couldn't let Sam's gift be in vain. "You must wake up now. You come back to me. You come back to me, my brave, beautiful, strong daughter. Come back to me," Laura insisted sternly. At the Brown Dog Bar, Elizabeth Baldwin, Rebecca Herbst, summoned Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, so she could check on him following the loss of Sam. Liz talked to Jason about the tricky situation with the kids and suggested he could move into the Quartermain mansion to avoid splitting Scout Quartermain, Cosette Abinant, and Danny Morgan, Asher and Tonzin up. Later, Jason spoke to Danny in the Quartermain kitchen, where Danny admitted Rocco Falconeri, FinCare, overheard Alexa's guardianship talk. Danny said he'd like to keep living with Scout and Rocco if that were somehow possible. If not, Danny wondered if he could live with Jason. Once Jason suggested they didn't have to decide on all this right now, he assured Danny that he'd be there for him no matter what. Back with Lucky, he caught up with Liz at the bar and infuriated her by admitting he couldn't stay in Port Charles. Since Lucky was thinking of returning to Africa, Liz stormed out on him for not putting Aiden Weber, Colin Cassidy, first. At the Surf Lodge restaurant, Trina Robinson, Tabiana Ali, accidentally bumped into Kai Taylor, Jens Austin Astrup, and spilled drinks on him. Trina was apologetic, but Kai was cool about it and seemed interested in her. Once Trina returned to her table with Jocelyn Jacks, Eden McCoy, Joss insisted that was the starting quarterback and played up his NFL chances. After Trina learned his name, she realized Kai was the art history project partner who screwed up her grade by not participating. Trina walked back over to rip into Kai, who admitted he wasn't really in the loop on his classes or PCE email. A tutor handled stuff like that for Kai since he was so busy with football. Trina clearly didn't care since her GPA was on the line, so she flew up at Kai and stomped off. Afterward, Kai made a phone call to get all the appropriate info since he knew he had to make things right. General Hospital spoilers say Kai may redeem himself with Trina soon, so stay tuned for more predictions on what the future holds for this duo. In an emotional episode of General Hospital, Tuesday, November 12, was a day that many fans had hoped for, but few dared to believe would arrive. Robert Scorpio and Holly Sutton finally found a path to happiness, while Laura Collins reached her breaking point, demanding her daughter, Lulu Spencer, wake up from her coma. Here's how the drama unfolded in Port Charles. A long-awaited goodbye for Robert and Holly. After years of near misses, love lost and rekindled, Robert Scorpio, Tristan Rogers, and Holly Sutton, Emma Sams, were finally given the chance for a happy ending. The episode opened with the two sharing a quiet breakfast at Kelly's, a rare moment of peace amid the usual hustle and bustle of Port Charles. Robert's eyes glimmered with contentment as he reached across the table to hold Holly's hand. The pair exchanged bittersweet smiles, knowing this was their last day in town before setting off to begin a new chapter together. Flashbacks of their relationship, romantic dinners, intense confrontations, near-death experiences, and tender embraces played throughout the episode, reminding fans just how far they had come. Holly confessed to Robert that she'd never imagined they'd get here, but now that they had, she wasn't going to let him go. Robert, visibly moved, admitted that no mission or mystery in the world could mean more to him than her. They strolled down the waterfront hand in hand, taking in the sights of Port Charles one last time. A wave of nostalgia hit them as they passed the spot where they first met so many years ago. Then, in a gesture of finality, they tossed a coin into the fountain, making a wish for a lifetime of happiness. As they were about to leave, they were interrupted by Mac Scorpio, John J. York, Robert's brother, who had come to see them off. Mac expressed a mix of pride and sadness as he hugged his brother. "It's not often you get a second chance at a love like yours," Mac said, smiling through tears. With one final hug, Mac watched as Robert and Holly disappeared around the corner, leaving Port Charles behind for a new beginning. Laura's desperation and a heartbreaking plea. Meanwhile, Laura Collins, Jenny Francis, found herself grappling with heartbreak and frustration as she sat vigil at her daughter Lulu Spencer's, Am Ryland bedside. Lulu had been in a coma for months following a devastating accident that nearly took her life. Laura had stayed strong, visiting every day, sharing stories, and holding Lulu's hand in hopes that her daughter would find her way back to consciousness. But today, Laura felt the weight of it all bearing down on her. As she stood by Lulu's bed, memories of Lulu's laughter, resilience, and love flooded her mind. Laura's voice cracked as she spoke to her daughter. "Lulu, you have to come back to us. Rocco needs his mother. And Charlotte needs you too, even if she doesn't always say it." Her hands shook as she stroked her daughter's hair, struggling to keep her composure. Laura took a deep breath, her tone shifting from sadness to urgency. "I know you're in there, Lulu. And I know it's hard, but you're one of the strongest people I know. I've seen you fight for your children, for Dante, for this whole town. Now I'm begging you to fight for yourself. Please come back to us. I need you." With tears streaming down her face, Laura collapsed in the chair beside the bed, resting her head next to Lulu's hand. She whispered, "I love you so much. I can't do this without you, Lulu. None of us can." Just as Laura poured her heart out, Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, entered the room. He stood in the doorway, silently observing Laura's emotional plea. Seeing her raw pain stirred something in him, reigniting the love and loyalty he felt for Lulu. He quietly approached and placed a reassuring hand on Laura's shoulder. "Laura," Dante said gently, "she'll come back. I know she will. Lulu is too stubborn to let go. We just have to keep believing." Laura nodded, taking solace in his words. Together, they stood by Lulu's bedside, united in their hope that somehow she would find her way back to them. Unresolved tensions and hope. Elsewhere in Port Charles, friends and family gathered to process the news of Robert and Holly's departure. At the Metro Court, Felicia Scorpio, Christina Wagner, and Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, shared a glass of wine, reminiscing about their adventures with Robert and Holly. "It feels like the end of an era," Felicia mused, swirling her glass. "So much of our lives have been intertwined with theirs. It's strange to think they're actually gone." Anna smiled, albeit a little wistfully. "They deserve this. After everything they've been through, they've earned a little happiness. Maybe it's a reminder that we should start looking for our own." Their conversation was interrupted when a message from Mac popped up on Anna's phone. It was a photo of Robert and Holly waving goodbye from the airport, a fittingly joyful send-off to their friends and family. Felicia raised her glass in a toast to Robert and Holly, and to all of us. May we all find a bit of that happiness someday. An ominous twist in Port Charles, but as often happens in General Hospital, peaceful moments are rarely unbroken. Just as everyone was preparing to leave the Metro Court, a familiar face reappeared. Victor Cassadine, Charles Shaughnessy, with a menacing glint in his eye. His unexpected arrival left Anna, Felicia, and the other patrons on edge. Hannah narrowed her eyes, silently vowing to keep an eye on him. She couldn't shake the feeling that trouble was brewing, and with Robert gone, she knew the responsibility of protecting the town now rested on her shoulders. Victor's ominous presence left a cloud over the joy that Robert and Holly's happy ending had brought to Port Charles. It was a reminder that while love might find a way, danger was never far behind in the lives of those who called this town home. Laura's final words. As night fell, Laura found herself alone in the hospital room once again, watching the steady rhythm of Lulu's breathing. She leaned close, her voice soft yet firm. "You once told me you'd never leave me, Lulu, and I'm holding you to that promise. I'm going to sit right here until you come back. I'm not giving up on you. Not now, not ever." The episode closed on Laura's determined face, the embodiment of a mother's endless hope and love. In a town where miracles were hard to come by, Laura was determined to make one happen.